We'll get to Odell Beckham Jr. in just a second. But first, Oregon lost a thriller to Auburn.
Get off me, son.
But for the Ducks, Justin Herbert found Spencer Webb for the very nice grab.
That's how you step over to
Allen Iverson.
Right there.
Oh,
right
over. This is a great play. The end of this game, last quarter, was maddening. Gus Malzahn doesn't understand when to go for two. Justin Herbert throws a Hail Mary 30 yards out the back of the end zone. Don't know what's happening.
Don't leave your feet. Don't do
Here
this.
we go.
Unless
Indiana Ball State. That's Justin Hall. Cardinals.
How many guys you hurdle over in your career?
0.
Why not?
The one time I tried to jump over someone, I landed on Trey Thomas's leg and broke my ankle.
Oh.
So, yeah, there's that.
That's why. Eastern Washington. Huskies, Aaron Fuller making the one-handed catch with the ballerina toe tap. Nice touchdown.
I mean, that's great defense, but you put the ball in only the one place that the receiver can go get it. Great throw, great catch.
That's a great college football highlight. 1 foot in, one-hand catch. Love it.
Nick. Want to play Drawn to Blank?
You know it's my favorite game, Jenna.
Let's do it. Here we go. Jalen Hurts had an electric Oklahoma debut on Saturday. 6 total touchdowns, 508 total yards in the 49-31 win over Houston. His performance has many already talking Heisman. So, Brian, your Heisman frontrunner after week 1 is blank.
Well, it's certainly hard to go against Hurts right there, but you got to give the running back some love. It's been it's been too long with the quarterbacks. I'm going Travis Etienne. Listen, 203 yards on 12 carries, Clemson. And I know they have a big-time quarterback there, too, but we got to show the running back some love, Nick.
All right, listen, talking Heisman frontrunners on September 2nd is a little bit like talking about the 2024 presidential field, but
which we do anyway.
I will dive in anyway because you're clearly wrong and biased to the position. Man, Jalen Hurts, my man had 500 total yards, 6 total touchdowns, 3 incompletions. Now I understand he's playing University of Houston, which is a terrible defensive team, at least it was last year, appears to be this year. But I'm so happy for this guy. Thought he got... I understand why Saban went to Tua, but it's got to be a killer for him, what he went through last season. And now to be not only starting for a contender, but starting under Lincoln Riley, a chance to show the pros what you can do when I don't think anyone thought that he could potentially be a pro quarterback. Start his season off like that. If this game were closer, he could have gone 400, 200 in a major conference game. Right now, it's Jalen Hurts for me.
All right, let's move on to the Texans. They dealt former first overall pick Jadeveon Clowney to the Seahawks over the weekend and then turned around and picked up Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills from the Dolphins. So, Nick, the best team in the AFC South right now is blank.
So you guys know, after the Andrew Luck injury, I was still picking the Colts to win the division. The big concern with the Texans was the offensive line, and the offensive line did get better. But while it got better, the defense got worse, and I simply do not trust the infrastructure in Houston. I do not trust the head coach in Houston. I love the quarterback. I love DeAndre Hopkins. But even though they added Tunsil, I have to go with the Indianapolis Colts. And I think the Texans understand. Bill O'Brien knows that if you can't win the division with Luck out, he's probably out of a job, which is, I think, one of the reasons they traded for Laramie Tunsil, paying that high price.
The Colts have an unproven quarterback, still a bunch of question marks. Andrew Luck was great last year. You almost can pencil him in last year for 3 touchdowns. This is a different type of offense now without Andrew Luck. The truth is the Texans are the best team in that division. You add Stills, you've solved the sack problem with Tunsil. Hopkins is going to be the same. Watson. I think the only thing that they need to do is find a replacement for Clowney, and they still have J.J. Watt on that side of the ball. The Texans are the best team in that division.
And Deshaun can fly on planes now, so that's something.
At least for the time being.
All right, let's talk a little Shady McCoy. The 10-year vet is on his way to Kansas City to reunite with Andy Reid after being cut by the Buffalo Bills. Another star on the move this offseason. So, Brian, the most impactful offseason acquisition will be blank.
I'm going to have to go Odell Beckham Jr. I mean, I don't know that there's even anyone that's close. You know, he's the most talented guy that got moved around this offseason, most explosive weapon. And you add him to an offense that has Baker Mayfield and a bunch of other guys that can go get it done. I think this guy changes the scenery in that AFC division. And I think this team as a whole will surprise a lot of people.
All right, so I agree with every single thing you said. I think Odell is the biggest difference maker, most impactful offseason acquisition. But I'm going to throw out a different name because I knew you were saying, Odell, Nick Foles. It's almost a quarterback exorcism in Jacksonville. Blake Bortles had been the anvil hanging around their neck for so many years. That defense, even though we don't think of it, we thought last year they had down years. Still a top 5 defense over the course of the season statistically. Just the offense was absolutely miserable. Nick Foles, see if he can take some of that Philly magic a little south down to Jacksonville. So after Beckham, I think it's the quarterback Nick Foles, who maybe the Jags, if he plays great, maybe we'll both be wrong about the AFC South, and the Jags take the division like they did a couple years ago.
All right, let's move on to the Dallas Cowboys. Jason Garrett's job, maybe riding on the Cowboys, getting a deal done with Ezekiel Elliott sometime, hopefully very soon. So, Nick, the coach on the hottest seat right now is blank.
This one's not even, to me, it's not even close. It's Jay Gruden. Jay Gruden. He doesn't, Trent Williams isn't there. We know the owner there's typically as a quick trigger. Our friends at Fox Bet, I have his odds at like plus 300. No one else better than plus 1,000. I would be very surprised if there is a coach fired before Jay Gruden this year.
Well, I got to look at Bill O'Brien.
Oh.
I mean, you give up 2 first-rounders and a second-rounder. You lose Clowney. And, of course, they had some issues protecting your quarterback. But, you know, you don't have a GM. It's just a bad situation down there in Houston. He certainly has to be on the hot seat.
If Billy O'Brien, the coach, is fired, does William O'Brien, the GM, get to stay, or they're both out?
Both of them out of there.
Okay. Let's move on to Tom Brady. Fox Bet has the Patriots as the favorites to win their 7th Super Bowl. The Chiefs, the Saints, and the Rams all follow New England. But Brian Westbrook, the team people are sleeping on most right now, is blank.
Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh.
I think that a lot of people have already said, well, you talked about it, Aaron Rodgers is coming back. He's going to be this new guy under Matt LaFleur. You talk about the Bears defense, but quietly, the Vikings still have a very good defense. They have a bunch of offense weapons, and I include Dalvin Cook, who I think is going to have a standout season. I think a lot of people have forgotten about what this offense can do and this defense. The Minnesota Vikings certainly have been slept on.
Love the defense, love the wide receivers. Just can't trust the guaranteed money quarterback in Kirk Cousins. I'm going to go with a quarterback I absolutely trust, Russell Wilson. 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Whatever version of Russell Wilson we get, he's going to be awesome 16 Sundays, Thursdays and Mondays a year. Seattle. I think Seattle's going to win that division. I think the Rams take a step back. I love the addition of Clowney. I think they're going to go back to having an excellent top 10 defense. Russell Wilson will carry the offense since they don't have a ton of receivers. I think Seattle right now, a lot of people think the Niners are going to be better than them in that division. I think they're going to win the division, so I say Seattle's the team.
Nobody's sleeping on Russell Wilson.
Man, people,
he's been getting it done.
People might be not sleeping on Russell. They're sleeping on the team, I think.
All right, let's finish up with some MVP talk. Quarterbacks have won the award in 11 of the last 12 seasons, Adrian Peterson being the lone exception. So, Brian, your dark horse pick for MVP this year is blank.
It's Russell Wilson.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Nobody's going to sleep on him because he's just that good. That team continues to run through him. He's the most accurate guy. He can be able to run, use his legs, throw the ball down the field. They have some weapons on that team as well. I think they've gotten better, obviously, Clowney, but they'll continue to run the football, and he'll be a big part of that team.
I love that pick because obviously I'm high on Seattle. I'm going to go with the guy who already has one MVP, Cameron Newton. I think the Panthers are going to win that division.
Really?
Cam Newton was having an outstanding year last year until he hurt his shoulder. Christian McCaffrey probably went #1 in a lot of your fantasy leagues this past weekend. I like DJ Moore. I think the defense is going to get them a lot of short fields with Gerald McCoy, Bruce Irvin, and other guys attacking the quarterback. Cam Newton, again, not my pick, but it's a dark horse. So my pick is Aaron Rodgers, but if it's one of the guys outside of the top 5 or 6 candidates, I like Cameron Newton.
Can he play 16 games? Can he stay upright and with that style of play?
I mean,
that's a big question.
Cam's only missed 5 games in his career.
But he struggled through a lot of that season last year.
You're right about that.
All right, finally, we got one more. The running back with the biggest personality who's also celebrating a birthday today is blank. Brian
The big 4-0.
The big
really? Turned 40 today. That's right.
Welcome. We'd love to have you. We'll see you in a couple of years there.
My wife threw me a surprise party the other night.
Were you surprised?
I was surprised.
Truly surprised?
Yeah, well, you know how it is.
Congrats, man.
Happy birthday. I'm glad you're celebrating with us. Take a break. Coming up. Hey, did the Texans change the NFL landscape this weekend? Next on First Things First.